seconds
Hello, everyone, and
remaining.
welcome back. We are now into wave number 5 here, and we're
5
going to have a
seconds
matchup
remaining.
between Cloud9 and CDEC. Both these teams coming in pretty hot right now. They've
Reserve
got their
time.
1-0. We saw Cloud9 earlier put up a really strong showing going against Hyper Glory team, and they did it on the back of a little bit of a fun Omni Night into the Lincoln's Rush that Blaze was raving about previously. And speaking of which, Blaze is by my side, still connected with me remotely, but he has had the unfortunate luck of not being able to connect with me inside the actual game live. So we might go through this draft a bit, but then we might end up doing it from Dota TV just so that we can both be on the same page. Otherwise, there's going to be that bit of delay. So, well, Blaze, are you still with me, though, as far as on Skype? How you doing?
Doing all right, man. A little frustrated with the lobby stuff since, of course, you had a disconnect, and the very last load-in I had the issue too. So it sucks, but yeah, one way or another, we'll get this game underway, and I'm excited about the game at the very least. I mean, this matchup is relatively close. So, like, CDEC have actually been doing really, really well recently, and of course, Cloud9 have made some waves with their new roster here. Their previous iteration was really successful, and potentially even more going now with Misery and Big Daddy as their supports. They get to draft a little bit differently. I mean, opening up with the Wisp here, although you have some really good Wisp play in Pylai, you can't match No Tail in this. Being able to open with that is so strong. But as I expected, the Lion is going to be a heavily contested pick as well. That's a very popular hero for both Misery as well as the CDEC supports. So taking that as well as banning the Bat Rider is something that was really expected. But Cloud9 banning out the Troll, not really willing to pick it up in the first phase, and of course they weren't willing to give it over to Maybe, who has just one of the most consistent Troll Warlord performances I've ever seen.
And certainly, yeah, well worth the respect ban. But this does allow Cloud9 to get the hold of that pesky little Wisp, and now you just got the formula for a beautiful Wisp Tiny combo already. So, in history, it's been a very top-notch combo. Even when you show out your strategy right off the bat, no counter seems to really be able to stand up to it. Interesting enough, also, Axe is still out and available. Neither team has really acknowledged the hero quite yet. But could be deserving of a ban potentially right here. But a nice opener in resolve for CDEC. Brewmaster Lion does add a bit of extra lockdown, but they need to think about what they can do against this dynamic duo. Magnus is going to be the ban right there. And, and Power certainly would help Tiny quite a bit, so I could see the worth.
Yeah, definitely a lot of potential value there. I still like the Brewmaster Drunken Haze against the Tiny. I think it's going to be solid for a long time. Eventually, we're going to be seeing, presumably, Eternal Envy picking up the Manta style, which will dispel the Drunken Haze. MKB is also a possible item, though less valuable on a hero that needs his movement speed and his attack speed. So I would expect the build-up to be maybe just a casual Yasha, then the Aghanim Scepter, and then back for the Manta style, because that Drunken Haze is going to be limiting the Tiny's output quite a bit, and it's a way that you can kind of prevent your towers from being demolished, is just disable him, lock him down, and give him a lot of mischance. So we'll see how they cope with that. But just for the landing phase here, they're going to get some good consistent results with the IO Tiny combo. Very powerful dual mid, and if it's against the Brewmaster, aggressive, Xiaohong, however you want to call it, he has a really, really solid brew, but I haven't seen it perform that well under pressure. So if he does have a trouble in the landing phase, it might be difficult to get his early blink and transition into that teamfight hero he needs to be.
We'll see if he gets that opportunity. Now, progressing with the banning phase, there is going to be that ban on the pesky Axe, which would offer a little bit of substance going against the Wisp. He's able to lock him and get a hold of him, but not going to have that opportunity. And on the other hand, the Brood Mother are going to get banned out. And I'm trying to think, I haven't really seen too much Bone 7 Brood, given there's been a lot of time for these teams to, of course, scrim, practice, and, you know, learn their way into new, flexible, and a deeper hero pool. But I haven't seen it a whole lot, but maybe just fearing that a hero like that could pretty much run a rampant on the CDEC lineup that they're thinking about here, and it looks like Blaze we're going to get another Morphling game now. So CDEC, we'll see if they have the same bit of luck that Ferrari did in his previous matchup. I wouldn't say luck, though. He actually did a really good Morphling.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, that was a very solid, consistent. He got 6 slotted by the end of it, and I mean, once you get to that level of, like, the Scotty, Satanic, and Butterfly, what can you really do against that hero? He's just so damn good. But, yeah, in this case, going to be coping pretty well with the IO Tiny, looking for more E-Blade and Shotgun play against the Wisp to bring him down quickly. You combine E-Blade with Finger of Death, and that is one dead ball of light. So I definitely think that there's a lot of potential for CDEC to just kind of burst down on one hero in particular. But the Cloud9, they're happy to just focus on the laning phase right now with the duo mid that should be the IO Tiny, and then the Lich who can sacrifice either for them or for other lanes. It's going to be very difficult for CDEC to pull ahead unless they get really good rotations with their Lion and potentially Witch Doctor. I'm not sure exactly where you want to go with your second support here, but you are up against the IO Tiny. Witch Doctor Void used to be a pretty common counter,
5 seconds
but
remaining.
I'm not too sure. They definitely need something more aggressive, more
Reserve
active as far as
time.
damage output, because Lich and IO are very passive in the laning stage. They can wait out the first 10 minutes without a single kill. As long as they get a couple runes here and there, they're pretty happy with just leaving the status quo for the laning phase.
Now, I want to put a note out there. I don't mean to step away from the draft at the moment, but people, I am under the understanding already that Blaze will have no audio inside Dota TV. He was not able to connect, which does happen. We were lucky enough to be able to connect to this one. I had to reconnect and restart Dota. That just comes with a bit of trouble from Perfect World. So Blaze isn't able to make it in. So I am going to have to step off and go into Dota TV. So there will be no in-game audio. I'm very sorry about that, but you know, this is unfortunately the hand we've been dealt, and we're just going to have to truck through it. So I'm sure I'm going to get blown up on my Twitter and everything about how you can't hear it, but there's the facts of life, for at least for now. Earthshaker, though, now going to be picked up here from CDEC. A great way to be able to combo, or at least be the combo breaker to kind of stop any sort of incoming early harassment. And he could be right there on the sidelines in case a relocate does follow through. And just to bounce more onto Morphling, you know, he also gets that added little perk. The Replicate Tiny is a sweet, sweet grab for themselves if they have the opportunity, but we'll see. Off lane, going to be a final pickup here for CDEC, I'd imagine. Timbersaw still there and works as a very nice counter towards the Wisp, and maybe even a Darkseer is something they could consider. I do love the wall when you go against these kind of Wisp tiny lineups, because they're almost forced to kind of engage, and then they put themselves in an awkward position. But Beastmaster as well, grabbed up from Cloud9. Interesting. Spicy.
Yeah, I mean, we can be pretty confident this is going to be a core Beastmaster in the sense that Lich and IO definitely are less item dependent than the Beastmaster there. So we'll see if they take it to the off lane and if they're going to be able to get ancient stacks is the big thing here. I've played a couple of rounds of the new Beastmaster with his recent changes, and the one thing that stands out to me above everything else is the level 1 boar. You don't actually have to expend more than just 15 mana to get a free ancient stack every single minute. And you can, the board duration being 60 seconds, you can prime that well ahead of time. So it's going to be on CDEC to actually try to control the dire agents and just put a lot of priority into making sure there's always a sentry and observer in that box, and just make sure that that's not going to be an option, because otherwise the Beastmaster gets a ton of farm, the Tiny gets a ton of farm, and CDEC, they really don't have ancient clear right now. So that's a new point of emphasis. Also, Beastmaster, of course, has some great lockdown here. Knowing that he's not up against an Abaddon or anything, he can just freely Primal Roar whoever he wants. Most likely the Brewmaster. That's the highest priority target, but taking the Morphling out of the fight, even though you generally don't kill him because he can morph through the Roar, it's still valuable to force him into more defensive stats and to take him out of the fight for a period of time.
Good slow stacking. The summons are so good. The Zookeeper strap seems to be something that teams are actually beginning to delve back into a bit for some of the lineups, and he's able to get some good CS in the laning phase. If he's going to be the core who needs to bring in the farm, that extra bit of lasted damage coming out from his summon certainly works. And hey, even consider grabbing up like an Orb of Venom. You have a lot of slow right off the bat. Plus with a Lich there, like who knows? You could get some really easy early engagements and catch some of the CDEC gamers out of bounds. But we're going to go through the last and final bans here. CDEC, they ban out the Viper, which almost looks like it could have been a decent grab for themselves, but maybe just kind of a little too fearsome about the... I don't know. Is the Morphling... Oh, the Morphling... sorry. The Brewmaster Viper matchup is typically one that Brewmaster doesn't care for, so I guess just maybe securing a better mid lane for CDEC with that intention.
If I was on the side of CDEC, I would be terrified of the laning phase. Like, you have good heroes for mid-game team fights. You get Blink Daggers online, and Brew and Earthshaker can do a lot. Morphling, he needs an item or two to really be relevant. But if you don't get out of the laning stage, then you're not going to be able to get to that point in the game. The Viper, along with the IO Tiny, along with the Beastmaster Lich, like, all these heroes are incredible in the lane. Maybe the Beastmaster, a little understated, but everything else is just so scary for CDEC to try to just pull ahead in a CS. Value. I mean, Cloud9 is a team that still, even with the new supports, loves to spread the map and loves to have a farm advantage, and they're able to do that because they have such early momentum. But here's a momentum hero for you. CDEC, pick up the Queen of Pain, and this is one thing that I wasn't sure if we were going to see it here in DAC, because it's a lot more on the line, even in the group stage. Still very high stakes. And here is a snowball hero. Mikasa plays a lot of really good snowball heroes. Plays Templar Assassin, plays mid Slark. Here's a Queen of Pain. And this hero can do so much, but can also be completely demolished if she gets shut down. I'm thinking mostly the Beastmaster here. If you don't have a Lincoln Sphere on this Queen of Pain, or like 2 or 3 stuns to bail her out of a bad spot, she's going to die every roar, and it is not going to be pretty.
Oh, well, look what we got here. We were talking about anti-Lincolns just before Blaze, and Ricky has that kind of a number for someone like Morphling, who's typically a Lincoln's carrier, but we'll see where he's going to fall here. It looks like it's going to be potentially a mid-lane Beastmaster, and there will be an off-lane Ricky. And Cloud9 putting together a pretty nice and spicy matchup, maybe something they'd been working quite a bit behind the scenes. And I agree with you. Queen of Pain is one of those heroes you always talk about. Like, we just feel like we don't see enough and just miss the old heydays of her being able to snowball and put on that mid-lane clinic. Well, we might get that opportunity here with CDEC. First things first, because of our unfortunate Dota TV and connection issues, I'm going to go ahead and step away from this match, and I will have to watch it on the ticket along with you, buddy. So make sure we get the action together. We will be seeing the same thing, otherwise we're working with a bit of delay, but there actually isn't much delay, believe it or not, in Dota TV. They have removed it altogether, I believe, because it's a LAN event. So I think it's like 10 seconds maybe, so we're not missing a whole lot. Okay, you're just unfortunately missing your Dota TV audio, and I'm sorry. Well, I could hear myself if I wanted to. No.
Okay, for 10 seconds there, I suppose. But
maybe we get the DVR feature, and I actually timed it pretty nicely, where we just hop into the matchup here at hand. So I guess I'll remove directed camera, even though that would be nice and easy mode. I will lead off your introductions. Yeah, Dire side, it's going to be C9, Cloud9. They've already led off the DAC with a 1-0 start, taking down Hyper Glory team, and now they're looking to do the same against CDEC here. We got none other than Eternal Envy himself, the Isama one. He's going to be playing your Tiny, and side by side with Big Daddy, No Tail. He's playing his signature tried and true Wisp. This guy was so good on Team Secret with it. Now he has the luxury of teaming up with EE's Tiny. I'm excited about this one. Mid lane, we got Fata, who's going to be playing the Brewmaster just behind. We got their newly acquired Misery, going to be playing your support Lich, and that leaves, of course, Bone7. He's going to be playing the crafty off-lane Ricky, and, well, looks like CDEC are anticipating it. They probably have a couple of sentries, and they sure do.
Yeah. But the really annoying thing about the offlane Riki is going out with the boots and the permanent invisibility. Essentially, he can place down the observer ward to block the camp, as you see there. He can place that out of invis, because you don't get revealed when you use an item. He actually is able to put the ward in the perfect spot, and there's no way they can know where he put it. And those sentry wards are even more valuable. You can't waste them in random spots on the camps, because you have to have it for the lane against Riki. They are going to, however, double up on the rune here. They are camping it as hard as possible, making sure the banner rune does not get sniped, because they're not confident. They do have the sentry, but they won't want to drop it here unless the banner rune gets sniped. But they cover it up very well. The hitbox of the Morphling right on top of it, and he will be able to pick up the double bounty. But even more importantly, No Tail gets his bottle via the banner rune up top.
Just a dream, and I've been really loving playing Wisp. Haven't loved playing it solo in queues, because Wisp is one of those heroes you really make sure you have someone you can mesh with that well. But, you know, getting that bottle so early is just so damn good. You're going to be able to then be a part of that 2-minute rune, and you always have that extra bit of sustain in lane. And, well, we see the dual lane coming out, but it's not your usual dual lane with the Wisp in the game. It's going to be Misery helping out Fata in the mid lane, trying to bully back maybe on his Morphling and not allow him to get that early CS head start.
So, we're introducing the lineup of CDEC here. We've got Mikasa on the safe lane. He's also known as SYDM. He's the former coach of Vici Gaming, and I think his roster addition has given them a lot of strategic value, as well as, of course, some really good snowball play. Garter is going to be running on your support line. It is going to be Q on the Earthshaker here, and that's going to leave us with the mid lane of Maybe's Morphling, very, very powerful core player as far as getting early farm out. And then Aggressive is his recent tag, but he's formerly known as Xiao Hong, and he is a really powerful brew player as well. So he's going to be on the top lane. Maybe a little difficult for him as far as finding farm for himself, but the important thing here is he's denying farm from Eternal Envy with that early point in Drunken Haze.
I will give him the same treatment that we are giving Big Daddy, as long as he wants to keep that name, and in my eyes, I guess he will be now aggressive. We'll try to make the best of it. Right now, he's throwing out the early Drunken Haze onto EE, so he only has that coin flips chance to even get the CS, so it does cost a pretty penny as far as mana goes for this brew, but mid lane, maybe already very, very low, and the courier. Here comes little Pudgy Poo, and he's not going to be real happy when he sees Misery come onto town. And oh, he's not going to get the say. Oh, he will. The creep stopped. Oh,
he didn't even get the salve.
Oh boy, maybe. Not happy about that one. Good snipe by Misery, and that sets a good tone early on for C9.
Yep. Aggressive going to try to grab with this bounty runes. Misery picks up that one as well, so just taking everything off the map for CDEC here, and maybe he's going to have such a hard time. Used his last pool Tango, gets one more from Garter that he'll be able to use in about 40 seconds here, but with the wave pulled back via Sacrifice, he just doesn't match up against Fata's Beastmaster, just not at all. It is actually extremely scary to go up against this. And a lot of people look at Beastmaster like, okay, he's an off-lane hero. He can stack agents. He can be very tanky because he has some good base stats, some good base armor, some good strength. But when it all comes down to it, he's a hero that can do so much with early mid-lane farm. He's actually, when I started playing Dota 2, transitioning from Han and from Dota 1, the one hero that I wanted to practice the most was mid Beastmaster because it was so prevalent at TI1. Yeah. And my goodness, this hero can do so much work. Controlling runes with the boars, getting early farm allows him to get things like Blink Dagger, Aghanim Scepter, maybe Necro 3 for a bit of momentum there. Like, he can actually get a lot of value, especially with nearly free kills every roar cooldown with this kind of a lineup.
It's a demon special, too. I mean, and we see a lot of teams, even... I remember when the patch first rolled around and Beastmaster got all of his recent perks and buffs. Owie, when he was talking about it, he got so giggly with the idea that he didn't even want to disclose some extra bit of info that potentially, you know, he would leak out to other possible teams. So a lot of teams have really been considering their Beastmaster play. I don't know if that was something he discussed with, you know, Cloud9 before they decided to change up rosters, but they're looking to utilize it here. And I saw it previously, of course, in the hands of Empire all through Star Ladder, and just having the extra benefit of that Hawk and controlling the map and scouting out pickoffs. And you're talking that this Hawk is going to set up some potential huge relocates. It's very, very nice for Cloud9. There's that Hawk now. Maybe, does he want it? Come here, you bird. No, not going to.
He doesn't want to get baited too far by, though. If he gets clouded when he tries to waveform out, this could be huge. Boat 7.
Boat 7. Drops that cloud.
He misses!
Oh, he misses! And now he's not going to be okay. And then new turnaround from Misery.
That is like a 40-60 split on the chance of First Blood going one way or First Blood going another. That the mischance on Cloud at level 1 is 40%. There was a 60% chance for maybe to get the First Blood on the Lich, and instead it gets turned around the other way. Doesn't get the kill on the Lich at all, and Misery living gives them the Frost Blast to finish the job. It is 100% just on that RNG that entire situation transpires.
Oh, top lane. Engage. Guy jumps on forward, but they immediately get off the quick CC, but now they go on the brew. Toss back.
Nice toss back.
But it still might not be enough. Now they turn their sights onto Big Daddy. Pops the wand with a big slap of the crit.
There's the RNG going the other way.
Yeah, there we go. RNGs, this could be a funny man sometimes, or woman, I guess. It can work out one way, but quickly work in your favor the next.
Balance in all things, I suppose. 10% crit chance coming out for the Brewmaster. That was not an auto crit. And yeah, the Wisp does take a spill here. Very low armor. Has 3 because of the Ring of Protection, but still gets crit down pretty easily. And he's going to make his way towards the mid lane, it would seem. Now, down bottom is pretty interesting because essentially they realize how little they can do against the Riki in terms of just like zoning him out and controlling him on the lane, because you know you can turn her invisible at any time. You can go in random spots, random tree lines, and you're not going to be in the radius of the sentry ward. So what they do instead is they just pull back the camp as frequently as possible, pull back the lane and try to limit his farm, but still it's pushed out quite heavily, and Bone 7's getting some nice juice here. He's going to be level 5 shortly with the poor man's shield. He'll probably go treads after that.
Got okay CS, but more importantly, he's about to be level 5, so he's got plenty of levels, plenty of XP coming his way. King of CS right now is going to be Fata in the mid lane Beastmaster. Misery has been such an MVP to the early game right now. C9, he gets his courier snipe, he gets control of the runes, and then he gets that turnaround kill. Of course, chalk it up to just a bit of luck right there for him, but more importantly, he's the one that walks away with the last laugh. So Cloud9 off to a very nice aggressive start. And for top lane, Big Daddy doesn't show himself, but now has to step back. They see him, so there is given vision on here, the high ground, and Big Daddy might know that now, seeing how they change things up. 6-minute rune's going to spawn up. Maybe should be able to grab that one, and it looks like Bone 7 is going to get the one on the bottom, but maybe looking for an engagement. Not the player, but potential engagement.
This here is so slow. Oh my gosh, 280 base movement speed on Morphling. Has his boots up to 335, but then he got hit by both the Boar Slow, which is at level 3, by the way. It's actually going to be a max Call the Wild build. And then the Frost Blast Slow, this guy is dropping down to like 200 movement speed.
Yeah.
It is very, very difficult to maneuver as maybe in this position. Now it's the double boar. Fata is just controlling his units so effectively, and yeah, 3 points in the Call of Wild Boar. You get now with this new scaling on the ability. Actually, Mikasa rotating, nope, cancels it. But yeah, this new scaling makes it 30% movement speed slow for level 3, and then obviously he'll look for another point in it pretty soon. But for now, it's the roar that we gotta look for. Will Fata rotate to try to make a kill.
Just makes the CS so good. Maybe is 16-2 in comparison to Fata's 40-13. Such a beautiful start right now. The bottom lane, we make a go. Mikasa is able to blink on away. Thank you very much for the 1300 range at the early level. He's able to just kind of waltz on out of there. Does force out the rotation from your Earthshaker, and they do share a little bit of loving with that Clarity Potion. So he'll be okay for now, and Misery's just going to wait here patiently behind Bone 7, just in case, as that safety net.
Yeah, and for those that are wondering why Fata's CS is so insane, it's not just because he is such a good mid laner, which is certainly true, but it's because of the boar and the fact that it runs piercing damage. Piercing damage is actually increased against normal creeps to 125%, up from like 75, or no, it's 150% up from 75 against all other sources. So what that means is essentially each boar at level 3 does 67 some odd damage per auto attack on creeps, and since he can have 2 up at the same time, he can essentially tell them to attack the same thing at the same time, and he has a guaranteed like 130 damage auto attack to CS with. It's almost unstoppable.
And just they have extra little fun perks, like right there, the contention of the runes. You put one boar on the top one, and they are able to burst it down and take it. But if they didn't, he could have got a quick deny, just denied them that access to the whatever rune it may be. So Beastmaster has a lot of tools available for being a nice and potent mid laner. This could be the beginning of a slow trend. And now, as he continues to dominate this lane, Brewmaster's still trying to get together what he wants. But, yep, there they go on to maybe. Cloud's there, but he still lives on, morphing up as much strength as possible. Now back up to 100, but that last little backstab is going to help him secure that one. It's a long fight, but they're able to finish off the Waterman Morphling.
Really, yeah, they've been kind of do-si-doing a lot with him down bottom, but he's not safe to farm anywhere. Mid lane, bottom lane, they're going to hunt him down, and with this Cloud, it's even more difficult for him. But yeah, I kind of like when you look at the numbers on this Beastmaster, like a Quelling Blade Treant can't deny this Beastmaster now if he has 2 boars up. They get like 180 damage against creeps. It's just insane. Like Fata literally will get free farm.
Oh, they whiffed the Sonic Wave on the Bone 7, and he will walk away, and there's going to be a pause coming out, but Mikasa was hoping to get the jump on the Bone right there.
He is dusted right now. 244 movement speed. That tapering slow, the Shadow Strike. I'm not sure if the Hex gets in range. We'll see. Getting close, getting close. The Scream, the right clicks, they will finish him off.
No, the Wisp is there. Big Daddy says no. Oh my God, that's the second epic Wisp we've seen today.
That's insane.
I don't know what kind of pause that was, but it guess was enough of a moment for him to get the rotation down to the bottom lane. Well, so be it.
I'm not sure exactly what to say about that. You make a decent point as far as I
mean, I don't know if you heard the funky stat we had on C9. They haven't seen that pause the most. Meanwhile, bottom lane, though, they're making it go to Mikasa, the Cloud, and now the Blink will be there.
Yep. So at the very least, forcing him back out of lane. Like, they don't get the kill, but he doesn't have a TP scroll, so it's going to be a long time for him to be out of commission, and that's very unfortunate for him. But yeah, the Riki building up a lot of early farm. The Beastmaster, will he go for the Necro is the question. You can go a number of items with the Staff of Wizardry. 4 Staff and Necro, the most consistent, I would say. But
Water on bottom lane. Queen of Pain not to be so lucky to get away the second time. Here comes Misery. Bam! Takes one little boop with that Chain Frost to finish off that support, and it's going to be a twofer for Misery. Man, this Lich is out of control right now.
So I've seen people freaking out about the pause. It's very possible that it's a lag calibration thing and they had an issue at a clutch moment. But it's very difficult to tell. If it happens a lot, then you can be suspicious, but it's very difficult to be a referee for that kind of a thing. So
there's been other pause issues in other matches, so it's very easy and quick to kind of point fingers about stuff like that. But the fact of the matter is we don't know what happened. But they're out there on land, and we're here doing our thing remotely, so as we move on through this, it's Cloud9 nonetheless. Huge upper hand advantage right now. 4-1 is the early spread. 4K net worth lead at about 11 minutes in. It's time for CDEC to get the ball rolling on their side, and they try to make a go on the EE, but Big Daddy is right there as this babysitter and allows him with a safe getaway.
Is under attack.
Yep. So it looks like they're going to make their move up top here. They've got the smoke to see. They've got the roar. Haven't used it all game here. 11.5 minutes, a really late roar, but they will go and set it up. The smoke plus roar, but he still gets the morph off. Still a lot of damage coming his way. He will fall in the end, but Bone7 might be the return. No, he dodges the Sonic Wave again. Two Sonic Waves from Mikasa. That's one very clutch dodge from Bone7. The other, just an unfortunate vector, but in the end, they waste their ultis, and C9 just keep pulling forward.
Oh man, that's a very painful screen to just look at. So, and that's 2 times. Mikasa, hopefully not letting it get to his head, can shake it off, but this is missed opportunities for CDEC over and over when they should be secured in extra kills, and you could chalk it always up to a bit of nerves in such a big tournament with so much on the line. It's always easy to sit there and be like, oh, it's a simple misplay, but nope, as they go on bottom, they'll get Garter. And now, Bone7 picks up a sweet kill for himself. Cloud9 continue their assault, continue to build up their snowball, and they continue to look real damn good.
And Bone7 just gets to build up towards his Mask of Madness, picking that up in about 300 gold here. He's going to be able to solo anybody he wants, in the Cloud even. With the Orb of Venom slow and the Lifesteal stacking, you can just get the full value out of these Orb effects and even go for a Diffusal Blade after that. The most recent Diffusal change is that it's no longer an Orb effect. He can actually go Mask of Madness, the Orb of Venom, which maybe later could be an Eye of Scotty, and the Diffusal Blade, and have no stacking issues whatsoever.
And hey, purge off dust if they got it. Why not, right? So
yeah,
works all that way. You know, him and Clinks, who I thought were the top 2 that were going to benefit a lot from that new Diffusal change. Haven't seen too much on Clinks, but I agree with you. Ricky, a very viable candidate to be able to put to strong use. As they are considering a swarm onto Mikasa here, and Bone7 trying to potentially be that initiator. It's only level 1 smoke screen, so it's only going to be so much silence. They're going to need to make sure they can follow it up with some decent lockdown, but at that same moment, they head towards the mid lane, it looks like. They have yet to really even use a relocate. Oh, actually, he's not even level 6. I'm surprised. Big Daddy has not been able to get up there yet, but they're going to make a go on the maybe. They're trying to ignore. Follow it up with the Avalanche, but he's already morphing it up right now and bringing in the gains.
Yeah, No-Tail's actually on the wrong side of the Fisher here. That could have been bad for him if Bone7 wasn't there to back him up, but yeah, they just have to be forced back as they're the ones getting initiated on time and time again. So nothing really happens for C9, but also nothing goes against them. And we do see it's actually going to be the Necro Rush from Beastmaster. At this point in time, he's going to go, or even probably leave his Wild Axes at level 2 and prioritize just the maxing of the Inner Beast along with Necro 3. When you get that massive attack speed aura from the Inner Beast aura as well as the range Necronomicon, the Tiny's just going to be attacking all the more swiftly with the max overcharge. He's actually going to be infused with so much potential to clobber towers left and right.
So with that said, and as pointed out by our gracious admin apparently, Brewmaster does pick up his Blink Dagger at this point, and they smoke up, and they're ready to put it to use here. So CDEC still reaching for an opportunity to try to take this game back. It's really kind of getting away from them at this early on is certainly what you don't want. Tiny's one of the heroes that's happy to soak in as much early momentum as possible, because at that point there won't be a really strong Instructor defense for one of the best siege damages in the game. You see right there, he does toss forward, but they immediately pounce onto him with the split. No tail, flies on through, and well, he gets cycled up immediately. The finger comes in from the back inside, and now they focus onto the Wisp. That Cyclone setup certainly helps out in situations like that, and they get a nice double in this top lane.
That is the third kill of the game. Second and third right there. The first one we saw on top lane was the Brewmaster killing off the Wisp, but since then, nothing has really gone the way of CDEC, but finally committing both the Finger of Death and the Sonic Wave. They get enough damage to bring down their quarry. Pun intended, I suppose, but the tier 1 tower up top is certainly going to fall, and a little bit of damage going the way of the bottom as the Necro 2 is up, and Fata wants to try to make an exchange.
Now,
Radiant's
Big Daddy will see how much use he'll get out of his relocates now that he has them online and at the ready here. Side by side with Fata, they'll take control of the jungle a little bit as he has his boars push out the bottom tower here.
Interesting. They're going to just go for Roach. They could have gone for the tier 1 with that Necro, but they're like, we get Roach. That's an even better objective, and because Sonic Wave and Finger are both on cooldown, split as well. They committed so much for that top fight that they're like, okay, well now that Tiny's up, we'll have him spread the map, and we'll take the Roche. And the Necro 2 should help them quite a bit in this regard.
Almost like a funky little lichen right here. This Beastmaster is able to kind of get that book real quick and use it for the summon power to take on the Roche, and it will be a successful grab. CDEC have no idea. They're completely in the dark about this one, and well, bottom lane, they're still waiting out even to die on the tier 1 tower. Mikasa better consider here in the future. There's the ping. Cloud9, if she doesn't deny it, they'll go right for it.
And they've got the roar up, so they can kill off Mikasa and take the tower too. Yeah, he just has to leave it. They actually get a free tier 1 along with the Roshan kill here, not even having to make the choice between the two.
They see him. They flock over. And he had no TP. It's on cooldown. He has to go into another spot. The balls are hitting him now. That Hawk is like, you're not going anywhere. The toss, there's nowhere to hide from Cloud9. No mercy whatsoever. Beautiful stuff. That Hawk. Oh my god. Beautiful setup. Free tower. Cloud9, man. Looking really good. Though in exchange, CDEC do get the top tier 1 and now the mid tier 1. But still, with a Roche grab, an Aegis, and now grabbing the tier 1 plus a kill, it's looking really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, there's still some real potential here with the Morphling. Maybe it's finally picking up the Ghost Scepter here. If he gets that E-Blade up, he can start building kill momentum the other way, but he's just so, I mean, like, right now he can't even come out of, well, he does come out of Invis, and Bone 7's right here. Bone 7 goes for the Cloud onto Aggressive. He can't blink for a bit, but luckily there is not enough damage just yet. With the Mask of Madness, he can attack fast, but he still needs a bit more agility in order to hit hard.
It's just funny, the extra little bits. Like they could very well think at some points Big Daddy could be by his own lonesome wisp, but with Bone 7 constantly just scouring around, they could quickly turn it right back on their heads. And with Necro 3, it's not going to be easy to kind of get some sentries down to scout out where Bone 7 might show up. So for now, he stalks, and he has his eyes on bottom lane. Mikasa's going to be forced back. A lot of Cloud9 members missing from the map, as you can see, and plus the always imposing danger of potentially that relocate gank, which is now up. And I'm sure you see that they're timing it out on the clock. Now they have to be a little bit more cautious on where they extend themselves.
If you just switch over to Dire Vision, you can see how valuable this Hawk is as well. You're actually seeing everybody in the mid lane right now with this Greater Hawk being maxed out with max vision. And Riki, like you said, can be anywhere at once as well. So the one limitation of offensive relocates where you have to have a good offensive vision. They do have one good ward up, but it's really this Hawk and this Riki that are giving them all the intel they need. Maybe, probably not the best target as he does have a replicate up, but it is possible to lure and silence him out. Either way, for now, it's just going to be a smoke play from Gardner and Aggressive as they make their way to the Radiant Jungle.
So no surprise as we see an engagement go on GE. There's a split. This scream will connect.
Wow.
And they also obliterate the Wisp. They get a nice double kill themselves, taking out the Wisp tiny combo in their own jungle. Showing C9 that they can't get too comfortable with this game so far.
Yeah. It's interesting that they opted for the Aegis on the Riki, though. That was a decision made earlier because the Tiny was up on the top lane at the time. He was just farming things out while the push went through. But, I mean, maybe if they had it on the Beastmaster, they could have something a little bit more reliable. But Bone 7 wanted to get aggressive, and yeah, he hasn't been able to make much use of it just yet.
Top of the net worth, though, is going to be both Fata and Eternal Envy, no surprise. But rounding up just behind by, what, 1k off is maybe on his Morphling, looking to recover, and is a Morphling after all. He can look to pull this game right back for CDEC. But Bone 7 continues to stalk here. Hasn't really shown his face. Very passive play now coming out from CDEC here. Rotation. Yeah, top lane to get the roar. Mikasa with the axes. She's still good for now. Almost going to get the AoE spread from that nuke, but they actually might end up instead with Q, and they'll get it. The Necro book easily right-clicks him down. Queen of Pain just narrowly escapes from that one.
Yeah. If this was a pub game, the Wisp player would then relocate right next to the fountain for a quick spirit snipe onto the Queen of Pain, walking away with 1 HP. But, you know, this is high stakes. This is important stuff. So they're just going to go for the quick overcharge, right-click on the tower. This Aghanim Scepter, along with the Drum Treads, already up. Eternal Envy looking really good, and that was with Suppressed Storm. That was with the fact that he was Drunken Hazed for half the laning phase. But he still is able to accumulate 131 CS. Not a great KDA, but still finding the Aghanim Scepter drums at a great time.
Just felt like, even though he might have fared okay in that top lane, it felt like CDEC couldn't really get an advantage anywhere in the early laning phase. Bone 7 pretty much could do what he wanted to Ricky in the bottom. Fata just put on a clinic in the mid lane with his Beastmaster, and Misery was just getting the job done all over the place. Plus you factor in that Courier. Seems like CDEC have been having a bit of trouble trying to recover. As you can see, they've yet to even claim the net worth once this game. Cloud9 have a really good thing rolling for him right now, and we'll see if CDEC are able to stop it. 7 now, eyes on Morphling here in the mid lane. He's already morphing quite a bit of damage. He'll wave forward here. Okay, he will instantly relocate out. So he's going to commit to that lane. He could have been in a bit of trouble, but he'll be fine.
There was a recent sentry placed out by Big Daddy No Tail that took out a very precious ward for CDEC. They need to feel comfortable in their jungle, and with that observer ward down, nothing is safe. I mean, you're already worried and paranoid about a Riki stalking you in the shadows constantly, but not even knowing where the Beastmaster or the Lich are rotating.
Vasa gets a solo takedown. Vasa just easily commits the Primal Roar and the book, and Pain really doesn't stand a chance. So.
Yeah.
Nice solo
I mean, with
takedown
this zoo, the attack speed aura is even better. Like, you have so many units that benefit from that attack speed increase, and she just goes down, and relocate comes in. This is just for the tower. This is a tower relocate.
Yep. They were parked there on the bottom lane, but the glyph is instantly going to be popped, wasting a bit of the extra time. They want to see what's happening. This could be a relocate that really doesn't amount to a whole lot,
Yeah.
so they go their way back bottom. Won't get much damage in on that tower.
I mean, not really much of a loss. 70 seconds, they'll have that back up again, and Fortification, at the very least, is a pretty big cooldown to expend here. It's not going to be refreshed anymore this game. All the Tier 1 towers gone. So popping that, it's now actually a non-renewable resource to their team as far as surviving. But maybe we'll have this Ethereal Blade up pretty soon. The Riki still holding his gold, might go for the Fusel, might go for something like a BKB. But in either case, right now, it's all on maybe to really start building some momentum with the Ethereal Blade Finger of Death.
Well, they got to smoke up. They're looking to get aggressive here. And one thing we have to keep an eye on for Misery and his Lich, and we saw it, I believe, in one of the previous games, is the new addition where how much mana it costs on that mech and how much it costs for Chain Frost. You need to make sure you have enough to get everything out there. But now they make it go. They keep going 7, they pop the dust, and with that stun and the extra bit of damage, they get that kill takedown, and that's going to prompt immediately the retreat from Misery back to base. So they get that pesky Riki. Find themselves at least a kill, and it's a successful smoking for them. And hey, look at that. They got a small bit of rubber band factor right there. That one takedown earns them about 1,100 gold.
So yeah, the Observer Sentry combo really good to catch up the Riki there, but maybe is so low up on the top lane. The mana burn really hurting him, but the Echo Slam against all those creeps, just trying to clear things out. Garter still dropping very low, and the Blink Dagger is up in 1 second. Hasted Brewmaster right on in. One more right click will bring him down, and with the relocate, they take the Shaker and the Tier 2 tower with them.
Very nicely set up there from Cloud9. They put the Swarm on top lane after losing the Riki there in the bottom, and they actually head themselves back towards the mid. So they continue to break the baselines of CDEC and look to pressure the high ground, not allowing this Morphling to find the free will to go out there and build up that bit of farm. He has his Death Blade already, but it's going to be tricky now on where he wants to go. I feel like there's just so much caution out there. I mean, Foth is able to get solo picks on his own. Now he has the blink for the extra bit of mobility to kind of come out from the dark. Relocates out there. Riki's constantly on the move. There's a lot of things to worry about in CDEC. So play cautious like that. You may not be able to match the economy that C9 are building up.
The mid Beastmaster is really what has set the tone for this game. Like, the Tiny Wisp was their mid to late game threat, but the tempo controller here was definitely the Beastmaster. His first roar of the game took a little bit of time. He was very patient with that because he knew he couldn't get a kill on the Morphling, but ever since he started using it, as we see here on the top lane,
he goes to his bird behind maybe and drops down the ultimate. I guess just as a little bit of a harassment. It's only 70 seconds, but a cheeky play nonetheless, and you can see the fun tactics already coming out with this Boots of Travel Beastmaster.
It's really just to put fear in him. It's saying, okay, you are no longer safe to go out behind, like, I would draw a line, but you can't see it without Dota TV. We have Bug 7.
Yeah.
Oh, nice kill there.
They got the sentries down in the woods. Bug 7 now needs to make sure that if he wants to go in that deep CDEC territory, that they're not going to be able to scout him out. CDEC are not dumb. They're not going to be walking out on their own. They'll constantly have someone nearby just in case. So when one scouts, they all look to converge, and they get successful pickoff on Riki once more. And get that bird out of here. Take down the nice little object.
So I actually think that the play on maybe might have been a bit of miscommunication. If they go for BOT Roar with Relocate up, that's a dead Morphling. Without it, not so much. So I definitely think that that was an issue with cooldowns, and it didn't cost them much because, again, they are playing with very short cooldowns this game. I mean, nobody has large cooldowns but the Lich, and once he gets his maxed out ultimate, that's not even going to be an issue. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a play that it's a mistake they are perfectly afraid to make, or perfectly allowed to make, and they're going to go right back on maybe.
Yeah, they jump onto him. They got the book there, and that Morphling, who's supposed to be so big and bad, is almost brought down. Eternal Envy already wants to go for the next target. He leaves the Morphling behind to get killed, and he sees what else is going to be up on the menu. Well, no one nearby, so it just ends up being a solo pick, but for their prized Morphling, it is certainly worth it.
Yeah, very slow Roche spawn, but it has to be up within a minute. They know that. If they just leave one summon in, oh no, please do not miss this Roche. Just from the like 5-second timing window that they left the pit. There's the Hawk. It will see it, and they will make their move that direction. They've got double damage up for about 10 more seconds, and more importantly, they just have a ton of attack speed with the auras and the overcharge. I mean, look how fast this Honey hits with when the overcharge is active, assuming they even bother.
Waiting for there it goes. Bam, bam, bam.
Without the Necronomicon up, which gives him an extra attack speed boost. He has no attack speed items but treads and drums, and he's still able to hit at a reasonable pace. Like, that's not fast, but it's not slow as Tiny should be with the grow passive, reducing his attack speed.
So with that, Cloud9 again, the uncontested Roche grab for them, the second one, I believe, of this game. And after already taking down the majority of the towers, this Aegis will help secure them even more. Probably going for the mid tier 2 and the bottom tier 2. And at that point, CDEC really, they've not been playing cautious already. At that point, they could be very in the dark. And that's when you really need to dig deep to try to pull this one back out. Because right now, Cloud9 continue to look dominant as we saw them in their first matchup against Hyper Glory team. More or less none the same. But we'll see if they're able to kind of go to the main throne, though. That's where we'll kind of decide.
Yeah. So they're stalking up on the high ground here. They wanted them to push down mid. They assumed, okay, right after a rush fight, that's where you go, is right down the mid lane. But in this position, there's an Observer Sentry combo that was seeing exactly their position. Now the Hawk makes its way through, and Vanta goes right in.
Jumps on, Blue does get the split off, but Earthshaker's not going to stand up to it. And now, with the reload in, big Sonic Wave, but it's through a BKB, which actually does work now. Now Fanta looking to go toe-to-toe with Mikasa. Buyback coming up from Earthshaker to get back in the mix. He tosses Bowen out to the low ground, relocate. Where the hell they go? Back up and above is now Garter now. Going in to support Misery, he drops to the Ice Blast. Misery throws out the Chain Frost towards the low ground Earthshaker. EE picks it up and throws down the Panda. And they'll get their own special kill there. Ends up being, 3-for-none trade, and the buyback coming out from Earthshaker.
Yeah, no blink dagger this game, buddy. This is a 680 gold loss for the Earthshaker. He will be so poor for the rest of the game. Like, the best case scenario for a CDEC right now is to try to single out the Lich and filch that gem. Because right now he's got a mechanism and a gem. If they can burn him down quickly enough with the E-Blade Finger of Death combo, they get that gem back, they might be able to get the map control back and maybe even force a couple more BKB charges from Bone 7. But as it is, it's just, they are getting clobbered, and you can see it is clobbering time. Tiny, he's pretty much about to hit like his critical mass for this game. Like, obviously Tiny can get much bigger, but he doesn't need to. He can actually end the game within the next 6 minutes.
Wager possible Manta could be next on the list for him. He can sell off Wand to make a little bit of extra space, but for now he holds that.
Could go
gold.
AC, AC,
yeah, too. Big one.
Anything with Hyperstone, really.
So if he's able to break past that extra fortification of the Morphling, that works out good, and hey, sees the towers even that much quicker than he already can. So Cloud9, we saw it the last time. They want to play it safe, though, so they can stack back, atomize a bit more, and wait. Maybe until there's a little bit of time left on this Aegis, but I imagine they'll want to put it to use. They already taken down that tier 2 in the mid lane. Bottom tier 2 still Sands, and it looks like that's going to be a next grab for them.
So I think this is going to be a refresher orb on Vata. If he gets that, like, how do you even deal with a double roar? Like, we've seen what Bone 7 could do with a double lasso on Batrider. The roar has very similar components. Obviously, you don't get the positioning advantage, but they're already ready to take the fight to their enemies. And I think that this refresher orb could just be the one that breaks the CDEC back. I mean, they have just tried and scrambled to keep in this game, but at the end of the day, Morphling barely has enough farm to consider himself.
Top lane, here comes the troops. Vata Pops his in visually, not
There it
keeping
is.
in. He gets the call right on to the Brew. Brew is just completely depleted of all mana. Eternal Envy shows up just in time to throw him up and down and get the kill. And on the way out, Morpheus will not be able to, well, he will be able to get away. Goes in deeper, Lion heads on out. They relocate back, and they're successful on another quick hit job, taking out the Brew mid lane. Casa is able to blink up to the high ground. Almost was in trouble there. Nowhere is safe right now, it feels, for CDEC.
This is very ugly. Down bottom there, I mean, there is a lone Misery with that valuable gem. If they only knew that he was there, they could definitely get a very valuable pickup. But instead, it's going to be on the mid lane. Mikasa forced back once again after trying to go for an Orchid play against the Riki, and it's ugly. It really is. They're going to make they don't know where to go, really. Like, they really don't know the best way to deal with this situation. They're being pushed in from all sides, and they're going to go on no-tail, Figure of Death.
God, good grab, good burst. It does trade his own life forward, and now Bone 7 pops the BKB, goes on to the Earthshaker, and does finish that job. So it ends up being a 2-for-1 right there. Bone 7 walks away.
They're winning.
Uh-oh, EE could be in trouble now. Casa pops his own BKB. Here comes Brew, back from the dead. He wants revenge, blinks out and away from the Avalanche, and puts his sights onto Misery. Looks to get that kill and will get it. Now comes the second life, buyback from Wisp. Is he looking to come in with the save? He's up and above here. He's holding out on the tether.
You can bail him out after the BKB expires. After the BKB goes completely out.
Well, he needed though. He actually turns back and absolutely assaults and takes down Mikasa. Now it's Brew who's trying to get away. There gets the stun. Gets the toss. He'll start clubbing him home. He's still maybe a nice defensive Ghost Scepter to help him on out. Thoughtless here though moves on forward and gets shoved back. And it looks like they will finally be able to breach and go onto this tier 2 tower.
So they just make their way there, the good old-fashioned way. The Aegis, the second HP bar, and the BKB is plenty for each. Just kind of go 1v4, 2v5, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, he's able to just stand his ground. So they take the tier 2 tower down bottom. The gem, where did that end up? It is back in the hands of C9. Big Daddy No Tail was able to pick that one up. And yeah, they're in a tremendous position right now. Like, the one thing that's a little bit annoying is that Ethereal Blade can be used defensively, and they don't have a way to break through that. But the Riki is going to rectify that very shortly, and from there, CDEC they drop too quickly. They really don't have anything. And that was, I think, their last chance of really bringing this game back, but we'll see. Maybe they can come up with a cool smoke attempt.
So now Cloud9 just kind of remain in control, holding onto the map and creating space for themselves to climb up. Wisp is always going to be nearby, just in case. He went with the Vlad, so even adding that much more substance there for Tiny. Well and worthy grab as they'll be parked. They always have relocate at the ready here, but CDEC are not looking to really stretch out. Unless maybe they go for one of the potential smoke goes. I don't see that happening.
So there's the Fusel Blade up there. Bone 7 did have to use a BKB charge in that last fight just to TP safely out, but I mean, end of the day, they have so much going for them, and they are looking to end the game with the next Roche cycle at the very least. It is going to be up within 4 minutes time, and yeah, swapping things around. They're probably going to be going in very shortly. Actually, Bone 7 pick up the gem, and yeah, why not? I mean, at this point, he can scout out any Sentry Wards they have and just keep active with his BKB.
Time to take the map back, and well, that diffuser will help when they are trying to play with that defensive F-Blade. He'll just gladly move that. Be okay to kind of further engage, but now he grabs up a sweet little bounty rune, and well, as they continue to keep extra vision, we check Cloud9 now. That Hawk just continues to patrol around and kind of deduct where CDEC could be. It will float it through now, and they'll probably be able to gauge that CDEC is pushing towards the top, so they begin to add pressure here on the bottom. And it looks like Fots actually gets taken down. I didn't even see that. A good quick grab there on the top, and it's Mikasa who gets the final nab.
So they got 3 BKBs up. I mean, that's at the very least something. They can go in confident against the Chain Frost, but there's so much that pierces right through that. They had the Wild Axes, all these attack damage enhancements, and of course the Primal Roar. Just big things that make it very difficult for them to deal with. And generally speaking, you're going to be forced into this against a Riki anyways, because that Cloud is so darn effective. But if you actually look at Bone 7's skill build, he only has 1 point in the Cloud. Might be enough though. No, Mikasa doesn't get hit by the Diffuser Blade, has the BKB. Bone 7 just forces him off the lane so that he can push it out, and Mikasa's sent back home.
And so with that, CDEC just continue to try to stall out while they can here. Cloud9, I imagine, just looking to wait a bit. Maybe looking to secure that extra life before they want to go for the final hurrah here. Roche does have just about a minute or so left before it will pop back up. But CDEC are already on the prowl here towards this bottom lane. There's potential for them to cut each other off, but looks like they're already going to be out the door here from the bottom. So CDEC are just instead just back on stall and push out duty here as they look to item this. But what do you think is going to be successful here for CDEC to try to really take this game back? You're looking at a net worth lead still of about 15K in favor of Cloud9, and they do remain in control. Is there a way for CDEC to really try to take advantage, or is it more waiting out for Cloud9 to maybe make a mistake?
It's hard to actually call anything C9 does a mistake because of the fact they have so many ways of getting places. Like, they have the relocate, they have the BOTs. Riki, generally speaking, can be anywhere he wants to be because vision doesn't matter. So in this context, like, anything that they there's no such thing as an overextension unless they're inside the enemy fountain. They can go across the map quickly. They can have their entire team ready to fight. And speaking of ready to fight, we've got a double damage rune onto Eternal Envy. That is the scariest thing you'll ever see, even if he is hazed up. And there's a refresh orb. So
they see it and they're like, nope, nope, we gotta go. Nope, no, thank you. That's a cool tier 1 tower, but you can have it. We don't want to finish it off.
I'll buy you a drink, sir, and send you on your way.
Please don't hurt me, please. So they walk away from the big blue Eternal Envy, and looks like Cloud9 will be successful in defending out their tower. Roche is up, mind you, and I wager here Bone7 could walk on over any moment. I guess instead maybe seeing if there could be a ward on the high ground. And once they are able to de-ward and secure the area, they can go for their Roche. I'm sure they're feeling confident enough that they could take any sort of team fight. And for CDEC, we'll see if they look to go for an engagement there. They're already on their way, so it looks like that could be the case.
Yeah, this should be the last row cycle for the game, but we'll see. CDEC, they have a couple Ghost Scepters, they have a lot of BKBs, they can try to make a big fight happen, but it's going to be on some really good Brewmaster play. Go again. He just gets roared up, and he might not even get the split off.
Oh man, yes, he gets clubbed home. He blinked in to try to get that bird, but he winds up with the roar. Doesn't care about no BKB, and that's just enough time for them to easily get taken apart. You can see now, Roar into Mikasa. He gets tossed up and down. Meanwhile, they do get Bone7 on the other side, making it a 1-for-2 trade, but Cloud9 still have the upper hand here. They waltz back towards the Roche area. CDEC still have maybe. See what they want to do. But Cloud9 feel confident with the numbers in their favor, and without Brew out, they can just get this road with ease.
Yeah, at this point of the game, you're just saying, this Beastmaster has a effing 38-minute refresher. Like, what do? That's something you don't really have the tools to deal with. You need like 3 Liquid Spheres, along with all your BKBs, along with items that actually do damage, which is, I think, the biggest issue with CDEC. They can find kills on Riki, and Riki alone. They haven't actually been able to kill anybody else for a very long time.
That double roar is really, really good here. Maybe the start of things to come from Cloud9. We'll have to see here, as it's proven to be very, very successful from top to bottom in the laning phase. A very successful start for him. And now just showing his true prowess.
Yeah, with the exception of the Finger of Death kill that we saw on the bottom tier 2 up against the Wisp, the only death other than Riki hasn't happened for 17 minutes. 17 minutes of nobody but Riki dying, with the one exception of No Tail on the bottom tier 2. Like, they can't actually kill the heroes that matter. Beastmaster, Tiny, and the Lich who was holding this gem, those are all just so important. And now, it's just, they don't have control. They are going to be pushed in with the Aegis of the Immortal, the MKB, and even a little bit of Drunken Haze won't really give Eternal Envy much cause for concern. No mercy today.
So it's time. We got an Aegis. Let's fight, boys. MKB up on Tiny, so it's even freaking harder than you can imagine, but it's time for Cloud9 to take this base and to take a second win. CDEC, who also are 1-0, want to hold on as long as possible. Try to eliminate one of those illusions right off the bat, and the fun little factoid of the Lion with that extra perk on his mana drain helps him eliminate the second illusion pretty quick. So CDEC now pressure on them to put up a high ground defense. Dude, they got it though. Bone7 really BKB and just jump in and pop down that Silence Cloud, and let's see what kind of follow-up they look for.
Yeah, this next creep wave.
Big Daddy losing all of his life. He's been.
He's in touch. Oh, he's got cheese. He's actually got a full. Like, he can heal. He can heal for like 3,000 on the Tiny. Like, the Tiny can be at 1 HP and suddenly he's full because of cheese play. He's gonna do it right here. He's gonna do it right here.
He needs it. He needs it. Where is it? Come in here, buddy. Give me that
Hey.
life. Ah. Beautiful stuff. And the mechanism will pop on top. Now there's no shotgun for you, but here we go. One Lord going to be popping out from Fata. 15 seconds for the second. Oh, it's going to go down. Big Echo Slam. But that's going to just annihilate the Necro Book. The Chain Frost connects on that Earthshaker, and now Eternal Envy hammering it home. Maybe steps back, trying to quickly burst him down. Now Mikasa looking to get in, but he's still good. Big Daddy will tether, but the tether will break. Envy just looks to unload on these racks, and it looks like Cloud9 are going to be able to hold their ground. The Age is still alive and well, and they can't even stop this Tony. He takes out the racks, and the job has been done.
Yeah, that's just too much. I mean, right there, Riki finishing people off, Diesel purging off the Ghost Scepter. They have nothing to keep them alive. And Tiny, he's gone to Aegis, for Christ's sake. Like, he is just pounding away. This is your game-ending Tiny Wisp. I mean, they have just played immaculately this game. If you look at the Golden Experience graph, there was no point in this game where they were actually behind. Because, I think mostly because of the Beastmaster and his tempo control. I mean, his CS advantage in the lightning phase, that was insane over the Morphling, and they were able to take that farm and do some real good stuff with it, with the BOTs, the Necro 3, and final stand.
Kills for you. They even want to get Big Daddy, but the one primal roll, the second primal roll. Maybe he's like, am I going to get the chance to do anything? Finally, he tries to walk out, but he has no mana. It just takes a few more clubs. Eternal Ending, now godlike. Cloud9 is looking absolutely dominant here. Spanta's off the boulder, just style points here for Eternal Envy as he walks away. Unbelievable performance, and it seems like any opportunity Cloud9 get, they could just go for this Wisp, and this could be the makings of a beautiful friendship between Big Daddy's Wisp and EE's Tiny. Fata even now being able to blink away. Mikasa catches up. They're very close to each other.
Oh my god,
they don't
seriously?
see each other. He just keeps on home. Meanwhile, you can see Finger is going to be able to catch on Misery's Lich.
But it's Mega Creeps.
When it's over, they just wanted to get those last couple of hits in, but they know it's over. They call out the GG.
Yeah, I think No Tail has only lost with Wisp once on Cloud9 so far, and I mean they've just been playing it really well in general. Every single time we see the Eternal Envy Tiny with the Wisp, they win. The only time they lost was with a Huskar pick, which, although fun, isn't necessarily a game-winning strategy. So yeah, in this case here, they really played it well. The Tiny, the Wisp. I'm not saying it's unstoppable, but it's something that has to be considered when you're drafting against No Tail, in no matter what team he's on. When he was on Fnatic, when he was on Secret, now when he's on Cloud9. Wisp is huge, and you have to do something about it.
And that something is probably ban it. Make sure they don't get the option. At least if they definitely have the first pick. But in this case, they didn't even need the first pick. They were able to get both of them right off the bat. So Cloud9 get their win, and they move on to become 2-0. CDEC now dropped to 1-1 here. But we got a lot more Dota action coming your way. That was our 5th wave. We're about to go into our 6th wave now. But Blaze, our journey ends here. You've been a sport for joining me so early in the morning over here and helping me out and fill in these couple of games. So please, everyone, show your love and support to Blaze by catching him on his Twitter @BlazeCasting. For myself, catch me on mine @KotLGuy. But we'll be back. We're going to have Rio Boris step out of the crowd now and get in the co-casting chair. Blaze, anything before I let you go, though? You've been super helpful. I know you're going to be back for some more DAC later on.
Yep, I can't wait for those games. I'm going to be seeing those tomorrow night, morning, whatever you want to call it, depending on your time zone. And in general, I look forward to see who really makes it to the prime stages of DAC. It's been an absolute pleasure, and thanks for having me.
All right, everyone. We'll be back in a moment with more Dota action. And with the matchup, it's going to be Big Gods taking on the Hellraisers. Looking forward to it. Be back in just a moment.